And Joshua, here we are. It's June.
It is June.
June.
I just said that like a drunk.
June.
It is June.
It is June.
Some slurred speech there.
It's June.
It is June.
Sure, that don't even seem possible, huh?
Right?
Saw a lightning bug the other day. Did I tell you that?
Yeah, I did too.
Had you ever remember a time when they've come that early?
Hell, I don't know when they get here.
Usually it's later in the summer.
I don't know. I know it's been super cool.
Seems to be.
It's been colder than normal.
That's why it's not cold, but kind of just cool. I don't know. It just seems weird.
Yeah.
School got out early this year because there was hardly any snow days.
I think everything's weird now. Everything's weird now.
Everything's weird. It's all weird. It's upside down.
It is. It is.
We convicted a president.
We did. We sure did. Well, we didn't.
We did.
But
the great state of New York.
The great state of New York. A state court convicted a federal case, which is also another first in history.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense. That's weird.
It really doesn't make sense, but
how does that?
I have no idea.
How did they try a federal case in state court?
That's a great question. I don't know.
It's like you said before this. I don't know how much we're going to add to this whole discussion because it literally is everywhere, and I don't want to flame people's ears off. And,
right.
And I totally agree with your sentiment. Whoever agrees with one side is going to agree with that side, and their opinions are not going to change, whichever side it is.
No, they're not.
So,
they're not.
But I think this is a weird.
Definitely. Well, they have made him a martyr.
Mm-hmm. This is what I kept saying. I'm like, look, if you're against Donald Trump, the worst thing that you can ask for is for this to happen. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how they don't see this. And I refer to them as they. I don't mean to they, them, or they, other people.
I do. They're in a cult. I absolutely will.
Yeah.
They're in a cult. They have Trump derangement syndrome. Dude, he's not a great person.
Right.
He's not a great person.
Well, it's like I said on my Facebook post.
They hate him so much. So much. The blinders are on. It's at all cost.
Right.
Get rid of him at all cost. It does not matter. And I agree with you.
It's like I said in my Facebook post about this whole thing, and I got a few comments back on that, and I thought it was pretty down the middle, but I don't. If I really believed that this was a beginning of like a revolution in the way that we treat politicians and actually convict them for crimes that they so obviously committed.
Right. Absolutely.
If I believed that this was going to start a whole new precedent,
I'd be on board.
Mm-hmm. I don't believe that.
Not for
and you would have to be. I will tell you this: anybody who actually believes that is a lunatic.
They are beyond delusional.
Yeah,
beyond delusional.
It's just it's not.
They're an ideologue.
You don't have to be a Donald Trump supporter. To see the error in this.
Yeah, I know.
Both things can be true.
No, they can't, Chase. Not today's world. Not today's world. It's all or nothing. It's black and white.
I just don't see how this leads down a good road. And I don't see how, at the end of the day, how it benefits the American people at all. Because at the very least, what it's going to do is start a pissing contest where anybody that either side doesn't like, they're just going to wrap up in endless court proceedings.
They are. Yep. I don't think the Republicans are because they're pussies. The Republicans are pussies.
But it certainly gives them precedent, too.
It does give them. It does. It gives them precedence, but they're not going to do it because they are giant vaginas.
Yeah,
they're not going to do it.
With that.
They're not going to do it. And
why is it that keeping in line with that? Why is it that the left wing in this country constantly sets the talking points?
Because we're not playing the same games. I say we. I'm not in either side. But neither party's playing the same game. One is playing a game that they're going to pull out all the stops. They're going to cheat, steal, lie, kill, maim, anything they can to get their way and keep in power. Mm-hmm. And then the Republicans are like, well, we're going to write a strongly worded letter.
Right.
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 Okay. And so both are completely just off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Republicans have no balls. They're not principled in anything whatsoever. They just get up. They do the same thing the Dems do. They get up and pander to their side, and that's that. So I have zero faith in either party.
Right.
I think both parties are corrupt to their core. Trademark Josh McKinney.
You really do need to trademark that.
I do. Both parties are absolutely corrupt to their core. And they're so different in the way that they handle things, and that's what's so funny. And unless you're an outsider to both parties and both sides, you can't see it.
Right.
You can't see it.
Yeah.
The people on the left have no idea how far the Dems go to overplay their hand, and the people on the right think that they're revolutionaries and they're ready for a civil war. It's like, dude, y'all are both fucked.
Yeah. I know. I don't know. I'm just so tired of it. Do you think people are waking up to this though?
Yeah,
I do too.
I do. I think this is a major one because now I see more people who voted against Donald Trump in the last election coming to this side and being like, and I'm not even saying to side with Trump.
Right.
Because I'm not siding with Trump.
Right.
I'm saying coming to the side of
this is madness.
This is madness, and
right.
Y'all are really just wow.
I think
I don't see it going the other way.
Yeah.
I don't see it going the other way.
Right.
I don't see people who previously liked Trump being like, oh my God, clutch my pearls, gasp. He did what? He mislabeled something on a ledger. He is illegal fees when he was paying not prostitute, but a porn star off that he fucked. Not that.
Right. I don't know. It doesn't even. I'll tell you what got me thinking, though. You know, you got mainstream media going the way of the buffalo. When do you think the two-party system goes the way of the buffalo?
I think we're in the death throes of mainstream media, and they're doing everything. Again, they have this amount of power, this massive amount of power that they are not going to give up without a fight to the death, because that's all these people are. They're power hungry.
Yeah. So here's a question for you.
Okay.
This got me to thinking. I'm going down this road.
Yeah.
If we move away from the two-party system, which I do believe eventually we will.
I hope to God.
I really do think. I think this is going to be a milestone in that road. I think.
Hope so.
Where people are like, okay, enough is enough. After what we've seen of the left and what we've seen of the right and how ridiculous all this stuff's got, I really think this is probably the beginning of the end. It may be a long road. But I think we're beginning to get down that road.
Well, you know, everybody talks about, and I've said a million times on the show, it's like watching the fall of Rome, but with Wi-Fi. But what people don't understand is the fall of Rome took hundreds and hundreds of years.
Right.
It wasn't like a boom, it's done kind of thing.
Right.
Rome just kind of went the way of spruce pine and just shriveled up and shrank economically until it turned into just a dilapidated bridge.
Well, it was no longer viable, and it was no longer viable in the modern, the culture of the time. It just wasn't capable of exerting its force.
I'm just ready for some kind of like revolution, civil war, something that I don't have to go to work.
Be careful what you ask for.
I'm just waiting for an EMP attack to reset the whole world so I can be like, well, I guess I should get outside and start planting some corn because
get outside and do some real homemaking and homesteading.
Yeah.
So here's where I was going with this. So if we move away, let's say the two parties kind of dissolve. I think the most likely scenario is the two parties dissolve into some form of multiple parties.
Right.
Well, we've never had that in this country. It's always been a binary, pretty much.
Right.
I mean, there's always been some kind of fringe third party, stuff that's been out there.
It just steals votes from one or the other.
But by and large, even before it was Democrats and Republicans, it was Federalists and Whigs. It was, what does that look like in the American system? If there's more than let's say there's 3, 4, 5, 6 parties, do we resort to a system where it's kind of like where it's kind of like somewhere like the Great Britain or the United Kingdom,
yeah.
where they have to form like a coalition, and then that. I mean, I know obviously we elect a president, and that's a little different because they elect a prime minister based on the coalition,
Right.
or whatever, which is different in this.
Well,
republic,
we don't even elect the president. The Electoral College elects the president. We don't
Right.
elect the president.
I got strong opinions about the Electoral College too, and not in ways you would think.
All right, let's hear.
I'm pro Electoral College. I'll
Oh,
tell
me
you
too,
why.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Here's my problem with it, though, is it's being, again, with the Dems, it's being abused. So what they're doing, when you import, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people into a city, and then you give them amnesty, just poof. Well, without even giving them amnesty, they don't have to be citizens as long as they
Are counted in the census.
counted in the census.
That
then
determines your representation
you
in
get
Congress.
more representation in Congress
Yeah.
and another 1 or 2 electoral seats in the Electoral College. So,
Right.
or 1 or 2 electorates. So this is what I say. This is why I said what I did earlier, because that side, they will lie, cheat, steal. They will play the games any way they can, and maybe it's not lie, cheat, and steal. Maybe that's perfectly within the I won't say their rights, but that's perfectly legitimate for them to do that.
Right.
It's really not, and it's insidious, but they're playing 2 different games. 2 different games.
I do feel like the Electoral College, there's been this big, especially after where Hillary Clinton got more of the popular vote than Donald Trump. There was a big, of course, you heard we abolished the Electoral College.
Yeah.
That's really, I feel like that's one of the most common, ignorant.
It is.
People have a real knee-jerk opinion on that whole issue, and I get it if you don't know anything about it. But you got to understand why the Electoral College was set up to begin with.
Sure.
So originally, when you had, the states, whatever especially in the beginning, like New York, Massachusetts, or whatever, were your major population centers, but essentially contributed nothing to the country in terms of goods.
Right.
And, then you had other states like, even at the time, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, things like that, where there wasn't a huge population, but they were a big driver behind the economy because most of your agriculture and stuff was conducted in those states, not in your northern states like New York or whatever.
Sure.
So the Electoral College was implemented in those cases to basically be a counterbalance to that.
Right.
To say, hey, look, just because these states don't have a giant population doesn't mean they can be discounted in terms of their importance to the union.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I don't think hardly anybody really knows that because we weren't taught that in school.
We weren't
either. I don't remember being taught that at least.
No, I don't either. And here's the thing: if you abolish the Electoral College, then you're going to have a handful of cities that control every election.
Yeah, and why would a presidential candidate ever go to any sort of small town like Ohio,
Right.
Iowa,
Right.
especially?
Yeah.
The fact that Iowa is the first caucus they're not the first. Who's the first?
I don't know.
Is it? No, I think it's New Hampshire. New Hampshire, South Carolina, Iowa, I think.
So how do we solve for this problem? How do we solve for the immigration problem where they're bringing in so many people and they're like, okay, well now we get more.
Buddy, Biden got tough on the border this week. Didn't you hear
did
that?
he? All of a sudden,
Right ahead of the election.
Well, shit.
Yeah, he did. He signed the toughest border enforcement since Donald Trump. I think I saw one article that said since Obama. And Obama was the deporter in chief.
Dude, he was way harder on the border than Trump was.
Yes. Yeah.
Jeez. Okay. Cool. Pander away, my friend.
Gas prices will start coming down. You watch it.
Yeah.
It's a
show.
Fucking
It's a show.
narrative.
I know.
It happens every 4 years. This happens right
what?
before the election. Everything just
You know what it means?
God.
You know what that means? Everything's fake.
it is fake.
Everything's fake.
It is fake.
Everything.
I don't know. I'm so sick and tired, and I really hope.
Which reinforces my thoughts that every institution in America is corrupt to its core.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, here's my thing that I worry about though more than anything. if they do sentence Trump, if they do put him in jail, which they very well may.
Right.
I mean, I hear a lot of pundits saying, they're not going to do. They would never do that.
Right.
They absolutely will if they can.
I think they will.
They will try to. How many? After that, how many feds are going to be in chat rooms, being like, "Hey, we need to act now. We need to take up arms. We need to do something." How many feds are going to be in those chat rooms, stirring shit up until we have a real boogaloo that happens? And that's what worries me. So my advice is anybody who is a Trump sympathizer out there, if they do, no matter what they do, do not partake in any kind of violence. And if things start to get hairy, if you're at a protest or whatever, and things start to get hairy, get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Because, dude.
And you see the narrative. You can already see it.
Yeah.
You can already say, oh, well, you know, something goes wrong like that. And you have something like Charlottesville, except actually real. Like with a militia.
Yep.
With people, angry right-wingers.
Yep.
And they're out there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right, but they're out there.
Sure.
Unequivocally, they are out there. And here's the way this plays out. It gets ugly. People start shooting. Yep. And then the next thing you hear is, well, I don't know about the Second Amendment. And then they'll start that whole
Not only that, then they're going to lump every single person in with that that violent whatever happens. They're going to lump
a violent uprising in America. I can understand.
All it's going to do is legitimize all the nonsense they spew. And, I mean, we've seen time and time again that violence on the left is excused and even encouraged. Go to their homes. I've heard politicians say that about Supreme Court justices. That's fucked up. But anyway, it's always excused on the left. And that's the thing. This country is so lopsided. That's the way it is. It's not fair. It sucks, but that's the way it is, people. And if you're on the right and you're like, man, that sucks, I want to do something about it, don't. Don't, because it will do nothing good.
No.
It will do nothing good.
I can 1,000% agree with that.
It's not going to do anything.
And they're looking for it. They're looking for it. You're playing into their hands.
They're foaming at the mouth, especially the media is foaming at the mouth, waiting.
And these people don't care about they don't care about actual Americans and safety and all that's a bunch of lip service. Is all it is. They don't care about you. They just assume
the media class does not care about us at all. They care about us insofar as they need somebody to watch their programming and clean their houses.
Yep.
We're peasants. Mm-hmm. We are peasants. And that's what I was listening to a really good conversation this week. Who was it with? We was talking about, you've got your fame, money, and power. You've got your people who aspire to be famous. That's measurable. It's like, okay, yeah, you can. Kim Kardashian's got so many hundreds of millions or whatever followers on Instagram, blah, blah, blah. That's measurable in numbers. You can look at analytics and see how famous you are. Money, another measurable thing. You can look and be like, okay, well, Elon Musk's richest man in the world is worth this much money, or I think it goes back and forth, but whatever. But then you got your power people. And that's what Washington and New York is made up of. D.C., the ruling class and the media class are full of your power people. That's what they want. They want the power. And that power is never going to be relinquished.
No.
Never going to be relinquished.
And they'll do anything to keep it.
Anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, unspeakable things to keep it. Because it's all they have. They live empty, hollow, shallow lives. They're terrible, miserable people. But they have the power they want, and they're not going to get rid of it. They're not going to concede it or give it up.
God, thank God we live in this little town. It's for as much as you can say about negative or whatever. Thank God we are so insulated from so much. I don't think we realize how insulated we are.
I don't know. I don't know that we're that insulated from a lot of it, honestly, man.
I do. I think you saw that during COVID.
Well, yeah, that's true. I will absolutely concede that.
Because nobody give a rip.
No.
And everybody's like,
Oh, Jimmy messaged. What is Jimmy saying?
Jimmy.
Jimmy cannot make it tonight. He's headed to dinner, unfortunately. It's all good, bro.
All good. We were going to have him remote from the People's Republic of California. Ask him how it is out there. Anyway, got the Alien Festival coming up this weekend. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that would be. I'm working, unfortunately, this weekend.
Oh, are you?
Able to attend.
I got you.
Yeah, I work all weekend. But, yes, we do. We have the Alien Festival. Be sure to check that out. Yeah, that was purchased at the last Alien Festival.
Hot little alien gal will be there. Look at her. Yeah. Now, if aliens all look like that, maybe we could...
I mean, who's to say they don't?
I think they do.
I don't know. That's still pretty weird. Like, I couldn't get down with that, man. I couldn't do it. Like,
what do you think? Are we alone in the universe, Joshua?
Hell no. Absolutely not.
You really think?
Really, yeah. Yeah, we're not. There's I'm not going to say there's no way, but it's highly unlikely that we are alone in this vast universe.
But you want to talk about a subject that's really... I've heard about... obviously you grew up watching Unsolved Mysteries and all this stuff. And, I mean, it's been a topic of conversation for a long time. But, buddy, it has really blown up in the last little bit.
Well, that's because you have the government being like, hey, look at this psyop. Hey, look at this psyop. Hey, look at this.
Right.
We've been lying this whole time. Maybe there are some UFOs. Maybe there's this. And that leads us into one of the stories. Noah, you want to pull up the story about the man finding the bizarre... Oh, you putting your sunglasses on?
Yes.
Noah went to the eye doctor the other day, so he's getting some new glasses.
Yep.
Okay. Kurt Cobain. Welcome back, Kurt. Good to have you here.
Glad to be back.
Pull us up a story there. Oh, yeah. Here we go. You can.
Is this the one?
Yes, this is it. Yes. If you just want to maximize this and play it, no, go for it.
Yeah. You may want to put your headphones on. I turned the volume down so we won't be able to hear.
Oh, yeah. I forgot I actually had them.
Yeah, we got headphones now.
Well, did it come from space? That's the question two men are now asking after finding mysterious debris in the mountains of North Carolina. On May 23rd, our station WLOS shared the story of a man who found this strange object on a remote trail. Another man contacted the station this week with photos of a strikingly similar item. Mike Wooten says he heard a thump on the roof and found the piece lying outside on May 21st. A few days later, Wooten says his son sent him an article with photos of the first piece of debris. The other piece was found more than 40 miles away, but the carbon fiber weaving and burnt bolts appear to match. But no confirmation so far on what exactly the object is, but one astronomer and astrophysicist writing on X that the item looks similar to that of the SpaceX Dragon trunk. He says re-entered the atmosphere on a path over the location recently. Wooten now plans to see if the two pieces match. For more on this mystery in the mountains, just visit thenationaldesk.com.
So that looks like...
I thought it was a symbiote. It looks like a symbiote.
Somebody call Elon. Ask him if he's missing a piece of space junk.
Yeah, Elon.
What's up?
What's going on?
I know what he's talking about. So the SpaceX Dragon capsule has a trunk. It's the only piece of that rocket that actually is discarded. It's essentially the second stage.
Okay.
It's basically what it is. But they land the first stage back.
So I can actually hear you.
Yeah. They land the first stage back on, in those incredible footage that you see of those boosters coming back and landing, and then they discard the second stage. But crazy, it wound up in the mountains. That's kind of wild.
That is wild.
I mean, where do they where do they launch things? They launch them from Vandenberg Air Force Base. They launch them from Cape Canaveral. Launch them from Boca Chica.
Yeah.
I kind of find it hard. I mean, I guess when you're, dealing with that kind of thing, I guess they can pretty much come back wherever in that trajectory. But God, the mountains of North Carolina seem pretty far off.
That's an odd place for them to just randomly show up.
Yeah.
But
who knows? Or we found extraterrestrial spacecraft.
I don't
pieces.
think that's extraterrestrial. That
You don't
looks
think so?
very man-made. Yeah, the car
Man-made it.
carbon fiber weave. That's for
By
sure.
Northrop Grumman at
Yeah.
Vandenberg Air Force Base.
Yeah, that's very human-made. I
think so?
Yeah, I don't think that's.
You think these Tic Tac objects and these things that they're saying, the gimbal objects and stuff, what do you think those are? You think those are aliens? You think those are our technology that we don't know about yet?
I don't know. That could go either way on those.
Yeah.
I could go either way on that. It could be very, very likely. It could easily be either or.
Here's the only thing this explanation of, okay, well, it's ours or like a foreign adversary. I don't think there's enough stock given to the fact that if we have figured that out, we have literally defied the laws of physics as we understand it currently.
Right.
And I don't just find it hard to believe that we could have developed that technology and launched it and be out there using it around our own stuff and nobody know about it.
Right.
That's a hard thing to keep under wraps.
How far ahead is military technology?
Usually. I mean, a good 30, 40 years probably most of the time.
So that's
That's
possible.
possible, but also that's not just 30 or 40 years ahead. That is a giant leap in technology.
I don't know. That may very well be 30 or 40 years ahead, man. Look how fast. Look. Let's just go back to the 50s. Okay.
Sure.
I mean, how
Well,
fast has the world changed and technology progressed since? Well, just since the 80s or 90s, since the advent of the internet. I mean,
Well,
dude,
Orville and Wilbur Wright flying the first plane at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, and us landing on the moon is less than 60 years apart. Let that sink in. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's how far we can come in that amount of time.
if we actually landed on the moon.
Josh, let's just assume that we landed on the moon.
Did we, though?
I did. I we started going this last week. We can go down this road for a second. I think we did. I think it's very possible that the videos are faked.
Oh, 100% the videos are faked. I don't even put those into the equation.
Yeah.
My whole thing is getting through the radiation belt.
I don't think it's a problem. Radiation, even here on Earth, is way under or overrated. People are scared to death of nuclear power plants because of supposedly all these people that were killed by the radiation.
This is a totally different world. Like,
right, but you're also inside of a tin can. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're in space or whether you're in whatever. You can protect instruments and stuff from radiation.
You can, not in a tin can.
Well,
I mean, think about the lead that is used in aprons and X-ray that you have to wear to do an X-ray. I mean, those crafts. There is no way those crafts.
You ever heard Elon's take on this?
Yes, and I think Elon has to be very careful because he relies on NASA for a certain amount of resources.
I think he does. But even on radiation is what I'm saying.
Oh, no.
He's the one I heard talk about this. He was like, honestly, he's like, man, he's like, you have to understand, like at Chernobyl, these guys that went in, the liquidators that went in there, he's like, you're literally going up on a roof and literally grabbing pieces of the core of a nuclear reactor and throwing them back in.
Right.
Like for somebody like that to get cancer and have horrible radiation sickness, it's completely understandable. But he was saying, like, literally you could have went within a mile of that plant and probably lived there for the rest of your life, and the chances of you getting cancer might have went up by 10%.
But that's apples and oranges. That is a nuclear power plant, and what we're talking about is going through a radiation belt from the sun.
Right, which is basically just a giant nuclear reactor.
It is. It is.
But I mean, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, we send satellites out there all the time. Why don't the satellites get destroyed by the radiation?
Oh, we don't send satellites anywhere past low orbit.
Or not satellites, but probes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, any spacecraft that we've sent out there has got to go through that.
That spacecraft we have today,
Right.
that's not the Apollo ships. The Apollo ships were literally tin cans. What we have today is a different world.
Have you ever been to the Smithsonian, like actually looked at one?
Yeah.
God dang,
Dude, they're literal tin cans.
If I had to spend that amount
There's
of
no
time
way.
in that thing, I would have went crazy.
And that's another thing. Looking at that, there is no way that made it to the moon and back. There is no way that happened.
I don't know, man. Feats of engineering are pretty crazy, dude.
They are, but not that.
Yeah.
I mean, not that.
Well, how do you keep that under wraps with all these astronauts? I mean, look at Buzz Aldrin. Buzz Aldrin has come out and spilled the beans on 100 things, but he still maintains we went to the moon. I mean, why wouldn't somebody like Buzz Aldrin have come out and said something about it? I mean, not just Buzz Aldrin. You've had all kinds of astronauts come out and
I mean, dude, I know
talk
people
crazy.
who personally worked on the Apollo missions, and they're all on board. And it wouldn't be that hard to do.
Bill Carson worked on the Apollo missions. Used to do the orchard up there.
Yep, and Jack Dellinger from Dellinger's Gristmill.
Yeah.
Worked for IBM, and he did a lot of computer programming and stuff for some of the instrumentation on the Apollo crafts.
I think it's okay. I think we went to the moon. The reason I think we went to the moon is I think that we not only do we see all of the technological innovations that we gleaned from that. Mm-hmm. That's the reason I think space travel is important. I mean, look, this is where microwaves
100%.
came from. It's where dehydrated food came from. It's where, there's countless things that we learn. And so why would you have been doing all that engineering just for nothing? And the Russian space program's never been disproven. The Japanese
they never made it to the moon, though.
Well, they made it around the moon. They never made it onto the surface.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If you can get to the moon, you can get on the surface. That's not that hard of a problem.
It's a hard pill for me to swallow that craft that I saw in the Smithsonian made it to the moon, landed on the moon, came back to Earth.
It didn't land on the moon. The lunar lander landed on the moon, and then they discarded it somewhere. It burned up in the Earth's atmosphere, I guess, didn't it? Did they bring the lunar lander back with them?
I don't know.
The LIM?
The
lunar excursion module?
I don't know if they did or not.
I don't know.
I just that's hard for me. That's hard for me to swallow, man. There's so much there that is just that doesn't wash.
Well, so have you ever listened to James Lovell, like actual James Lovell, talk about like the Apollo 13 disaster thing? That guy just seems to be one of the most down-to-earth, salt-of-the-earth type of guys. I mean, you can just tell by talking to him that the guy's listening to him talk, that he's a good guy.
Yeah.
You know? And the way he talks about that, I have a hard time believing that those people just faked all that. I mean, it's a massive cover-up, Josh. Mm-hmm. A massive cover-up.
Yeah. I fully concede that. And what kills me, too, is, like, on this side of the argument, the side that I'm on, we have... Who was the dude on Joe Rogan that kept plugging his website?
Oh, yeah.
God.
Yes.
And, like, it's like he's got some valid points, but he...
Well, I think it all stems from those videos. A lot of it. At
does,
least.
Especially with
maybe
him,
not all of it, but a lot of it does. And I definitely think... That's the reason I think it's totally possible. I think it's possible.
I think it's possible. It's just highly unlikely that we actually went to the moon.
Well, we're going to find out because we're supposedly going back.
Good. I hope we do.
Let's see. Actually, so today's the 5th. Tomorrow is supposed to be the 4th launch of the Starship tomorrow. Sometime tomorrow afternoon, I believe it was. Yeah. Yes, that ought to be fun. If you watched any of that, it is unbelievable, dude.
I'm still trying to figure out the dude's name was on Joe Rogan that kept plugging his website because it was so funny. Going through and reading the comments is like, oh, gee, I wonder if this guy has a website.
I know what you're talking about because I listened to it too.
Oh my God, it was so hard to listen to. And his sources were just like, my book or my website. If you go to whatever.com, it's like, no, man, your sources.
Right. I don't know, man.
I would love to know Elon Musk's candid thoughts on this.
Yeah, me too.
I would love to know.
Because you can tell, even when you watch him on like Rogan and things like that, like, you know, Rogan just peppers the guy with questions the entire time,
yeah.
like, because he's so curious about all of it. And you can tell when he's like,
Yeah.
I have to watch what I say here. You know what I mean? I do think he's, you know, they ask him, his opinion on aliens and stuff like that has never changed. He's like, well, if they're here, they're awful subtle, which I think is a great opinion.
I don't think that they're here. I don't think that we've made contact. I may be wrong, but I think that it is quite naive for us to think that in this vast, giant, ever-expanding universe that we're the only. How many millions of planets are terrestrial and can support life in the universe? It's ridiculous. How many in this galaxy? You know, in our galaxy, in the Milky Way. I mean, there's millions. Like, I think people tend to think of the Milky Way as just our little solar system.
Right.
I really think that's the case. I think a lot of people, when they think of the Milky Way
they think
galaxy,
it's just our planetary
just
system.
our little planetary system.
Right,
And dude,
right.
here's the Milky Way galaxy. Here's our little planetary
We're
system.
like a speck.
Not
in
even
that.
a speck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blip in the middle.
And that's
of it.
just one galaxy
right.
out of however many countless.
I'm gonna find out how many galaxies there are.
I've heard there's easily like billions, probably.
Oh yeah, trillions easily.
I mean, space.
But also, here's the other thing. This is what always gets me, and I've said this 1,000 times, I think, on here. But this is the one thing that always gets me too, is that people always talk about, well, the vastness of space, the vastness of space. Well, what about the vastness of time? I think it's entirely possible that we are alive. We are currently living in a time where there is simply no other civilization that is capable of reaching us.
Well, yeah, that's capable of reaching us. I completely
Yes, or a civilization that exists. Let's say they're in the Stone Age still.
Right. Sure.
And I'm sure there's civilizations that are probably billions and billions of years old, but let's say there's so many billions of years old that they're completely dead and gone by the time we even came around.
There are between 200 billion to 2 trillion galaxies in the universe.
And it's ever expanding.
Every second, every moment, it expands.
And did you know that the universe is expanding at such a rate that if we left, even if we were traveling at or above the speed of light, that we would still never, it's so far away now that we would never be able to catch up with it?
No, we wouldn't.
It's virtual impossible, or it is a complete impossibility to even catch up.
What do you think of, this is kind of on the same subject, but did you see Tucker Carlson on Rogan talk about how he thinks aliens are Nephilim?
Yeah, I saw that.
And demons.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, nope, I don't think so, bud.
Those are technically two separate species of things.
Well, they are.
Right.
I was like, man, and that was a good interview until we got there, and I was like, oh, dude.
And I think that's a pretty esoteric. I don't know that Tucker Carlson spends a whole lot of time sitting around. He's a politics guy.
I know.
I don't know that he spends a whole lot of time sitting around. He's also a religious guy.
He is.
You know what I mean? So I can sort of see the opinion. I do think there's a little bit more nuance to that argument than just say it sounds crazy at first, but I've heard people explain it in a way that it's like, okay, kind of see what you're doing here. Like you're kind of mixing definitions a little bit, but
right.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that whole opinion would go back to, well, you know, how and why we were founded and why we're even here to begin with. I think it's tied up in that whole belief system too.
It is.
Like,
it's tied up in it's tied up in Judeo-Christianity,
right?
And in that belief structure. And without the Bible, there would be no Nephilim or
Seraphim.
Right.
Cherubim.
any of that.
I've
never been a real
nonsense.
Spiro Christian. I don't know. There's a lot of people get way in the
Spiro
weeds
Agnew.
with some stuff,
Do you
dude.
not believe in angels?
That's what we call them. That's
Yeah.
what a lot of us that I don't know. People get off in the weeds big time. They get off in the
Well,
they do.
They do.
And they're seeing gold dust and
I know.
you know
Some people
I
are
saw
psychic. I've seen that. A lot of people are psychic all of a sudden.
yeah.
That's the thing now.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, yeah.
I think you get a little bit off in the thing, and they're
That sounds
casting
like
out
some,
demons and
delusions of grandeur there.
yeah. I don't know, man. I think that really the real work, the way I look at it, the real work of Christianity is just what Jesus said it was. It's go and tell the good news and tell people that they're loved. I mean, that's your only job. It's not my. I don't understand why. And a lot of belief systems do. It's not just Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Christians, we see that a lot because that's the culture that we live in. But every religion does it. Is they feel this pressure to explain the universe. Well, I don't believe in Jesus because I think it explains everything that I've ever seen or ever known or science or all the questions of the world. I think that's what that's never been like a thing for me, is I don't need my belief system to explain everything in front of me.
Right. Well, all religions do that,
Yeah.
and that's because they're totalitarian.
Right.
Every religion is totalitarian.
Well, at the end of the day, we're humans. Like,
We're literally apes, dude.
I can touch and feel it.
We're apes with thermonuclear weapons.
Right. And that there's a certain thing to that you also have to take into account. Like real life exists. Like feelings exists. Bodily injury exists. Like
Right.
we're not living in just this world where it's just, when you have a belief system, I think a lot of people think, well, everything in your entire life has to revolve around that. Well, that's not. Now it may influence my morals and the way that I act and the way that I treat people.
Sure.
And that's more of what it is. It's a change in the heart, to me, more than it is this overarching explanation of everything that's ever existed.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the difference between cultural Christianity
Right.
and Christianity.
Well, did you see Jesus? Did Jesus
never
try
saw
to?
him, no.
Well,
Nope, I've never seen it.
me either.
Yeah, I have.
I did not.
Well,
see
Jesus didn't sit at like he gave when Jesus gave his talks. It wasn't like he was sitting there trying to explain the universe to everybody.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
You know?
But the Bible, the Quran, not the Hadith so much, but the Bible, the Quran, and I mean, I'm not going to necessarily maybe the Torah, but the Bible, the Old Testament is the Jewish Bible, so
Right.
they explain how everything came to be. That's also, per the book, the infallible Word of God. So that has to be the way it happened. If that's your worldview, that has to be the way it happened, because it can't be. It can't be. It can't be wrong. It's infallible. So cultural Christian, and even Richard Dawkins calls himself a cultural Christian, which is hilarious. But he means it because he does have a certain amount of morality that he gets from Christianity, and
Sure.
but so that's why the two are tied together. That's why the two are tied together.
Well, I also have a lot of beliefs that would probably make me a giant heretic in most.
Sure.
Do I think that there was a man and a woman naked in a garden? That's the way this whole thing started? No. I think that's a massive oral tradition that's been handed down, not just through Judaism, but in
I love the way you said Judaism.
Judaism. Old Judy Chop.
That's what.
Judy Chop.
That's exactly. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail that thought because that was a good one.
But I think it's a great way. I think in the oral tradition, if you really look at it for what it was, I mean, gotta understand, Genesis was written in, it was like a poetic book. It's not written in like a, it's not written in, it's written as if it was handed down in an oral tradition.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great way to explain how it happened. I think it's great, like
Really?
I think it's a great way to explain.
The firmament and everything? All of
No,
that?
I think when it comes, especially when it comes to humanity, is like, yeah, we were completely unaware of what we were doing. We were just animals. And at some point we became conscious, and we became conscious of our choices. We became conscious of what was good, conscious of what was evil, based on what it did to our fellow humans. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a great way. If you want to hand it down through thousands of years, yeah, it's a metaphorical book to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I think it's a great way to explain it, because it's pretty much, if you believe in evolution, that's pretty much how it happened.
Right.
At some point, we became aware of ourselves. We became conscious. I think the real question is, what's consciousness and what's the role of free will in it?
Right. Well,
And where did consciousness come from?
consciousness, as far as I can tell, is simply just a
Brain synapses.
brain synapses.
You really think that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know,
it's
man.
Just, it's from our highly evolved prefrontal cortex. But I mean, if we think for 1 second that we're the only species on the planet that is self-aware and with consciousness.
Oh, no.
We're arrogant, like beyond arrogant.
But we are definitely conscious in a way that a lot of other things are not.
We are, but well, I don't know. I don't know that I can say that, because we don't we don't have the ability to communicate with these other species. But dude, there are literally elephants that can paint pictures. Actual self-portraits.
Sure, and then you have animals like dogs who obviously, like, they'll go and find somebody if their owner's hurt. Like, but also, if the world came to an end, I can tell you right now where that dog's gonna be. It's gonna be up under the house.
Oh, sure.
Cowering in fear.
Sure, 100%.
You know what I mean? So, like, those are the kind of things that. Well, yes, probably. That's true too. But you're not gonna. I guess what I'm saying is you're gonna have all these things. Where's my son? Where's my mom and dad? Where's my grandma? You know, we're.
Well, and we can't say, we don't know what's going through that dog's mind, because we can't communicate.
Does it even have a mind?
Absolutely.
Does a plant have a mind?
Plant, I don't know. No, because the plant doesn't have a brain. Plants do scream, though.
I know. That's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
They feel pain.
I think that the mystery of consciousness is really where a lot of these answers ultimately lie. And, buddy, that's a hard problem. I don't know.
As far as free will, of course we have free will. We don't have a choice in the matter.
Going back to
I can't take credit for that. That's a hitch slap.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting subject, though. I find the whole consciousness debate as interesting as I find it exhausting at the same time. I've listened to some real smart people talk about consciousness.
Here's my thoughts on
melts
consciousness.
my brain off.
This is my thoughts on consciousness. If you did a brain transplant, like if we had Joe Blow, prisoner 249, that died, right? And it was like, well, this guy's dead. We're going to keep his body alive on life support. Josh, you need a new body. You have to have a new body. You're gonna die if you don't. But we've perfected a way to do an actual head transplant. We can do a head transplant. We can transplant your head onto this body. That's going to be my consciousness in that man's body. It comes from up here.
Sure. But I mean, how deep do you go in there to find what it is that separates that? Because we weren't that at one point.
No, we
were quite literally apes at one point, if you follow the Darwinist like evolution. Which I think there's holes in that too. I think
our ancestors were. But we still are quite literally apes.
We are.
We really are. But we have developed a very sophisticated way to communicate.
And civilization. And interact with one another and social structure.
You see communities of great apes doing that now themselves. Like the great apes have just entered their own Stone Age.
I know. They're beginning to use tools and stuff now.
Yeah. So it's just a byproduct of evolution. Once our brains reach a certain point, I don't know if it's a certain size, but once our brains evolve so much, that part, whatever it is, awakens, which
Yeah.
leads me to believe that it is a byproduct of our brain's evolution.
I think it's a viable opinion. I think it's one of them things I'd like to see it figured out. And far smarter people than me are going to have to figure that one out.
The problem is it's consciousness now because we think, I won't say we, humans do think that we are the only species with consciousness on the planet. The majority of humans believe that.
Right.
They hold that belief. They don't think that dogs are conscious beings. They don't
Right.
think that, I mean, even a freaking chicken, as dumb as they are, it's still a conscious being. It's still a conscious being.
Right.
Now, is it self-aware? I don't know.
I think that's really what you're talking about, and that's what I'm saying. That's when I say consciousness. That's what I mean. Okay. I mean, it's whatever that is. That thing is that separates us from other mammals, and yes,
the ability to know oneself and recognize oneself.
Yes.
There's tons of other species out there that possess.
And I think really what it is it really is in large part it's our ability to manipulate our environment to our advantage. And apes do that, and to a certain extent. But
beavers.
You're right.
Beavers are.
But we've taken that to a whole nother level.
We have.
We're transmedium. You're not going to take a bird and teach it to swim.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But we have.
But birds do have like an average IQ of like a toddler.
Sure.
Which, again, you have cases where ravens like pick people out that they like and enjoy being around and bring them gifts.
And see, this is where I think these arguments about like panspermia and stuff get really interesting, because we are not really. Did you know it's been proven that our circadian rhythm aligns more with the day and night cycle of Mars than it does our own planet?
Really?
Now, how is that true?
Huh. I don't know.
There's some really weird anomalies. Like, we are the only mammal that is entirely helpless when it is born.
Yeah.
Like, entirely. Like, we have no shot of survival without our parents.
Right.
None. If we're just left, we're dead.
We're dead. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
We're the only mammal that is like that at all. We're almost the only animal at all that's like that. You know? It may be a very small chance that they live, but at least they have a chance.
I don't know.
We have none.
I could think of at least a few animals that fall into that category too. I mean, cattle, baby cows. They have to. Most.
Yeah, but we're helpless for like 2 years.
Yeah.
These other things are helpless for like a few days until they get feed them up.
I don't know. That's something I don't know a whole lot about. So it may be inappropriate for me to comment on that.
We're completely hairless. We're complete. I mean,
yeah,
we have no shot at all, and maybe that's the result of evolution because we've just lost the need for those things.
We've domesticated ourselves.
Yeah, we've domesticated those. So when do cats all their hair start falling out because they don't need to be?
I mean, there are species of hairless cats.
I know, but that's by breed.
They still spend a lot of time outside.
Imagine if all these other domesticated things that we had just started losing their hair and we had to put clothes on them.
They definitely have changed a lot over the years, especially due to selective breeding and stuff.
This is a whole new thing. They need to speed that up because you could sell cat clothes. Can you imagine?
Well, they do already.
I know.
These people put fucking sweaters on their damn dogs, and I'm like, your dog is over there like dying
of heat stroke.
Fucking sweater on it. You're like, it looks cute. Jesus.
That is true about the great apes are beginning to enter the Stone Age. Basically, you seen that orangutan that drives the go-kart? Yes. I saw Mountain Man McMahon. Shout out Mountain Man. Hey, did you see that? He posted it. It was a meme of him, that orangutan driving it. It said, "On my way to vote for a convicted felon." I thought that was great. That was great.
Oh my God.
We need to reach out to Mountain Man again. We need another one of those episodes.
I need to set up some kind of VIOP or VOIP system. And we need to do a call-in show with him.
Yes, we do. We absolutely need to.
We need to do a call-in show with him.
Yeah.
In fact, we need to start doing live streams where he do call-ins.
I know, right?
We should do that.
Let's do it.
That
man.
would be
That's
lot
a good
of
idea.
fun.
I was thinking too that we really should be live. We should have done a live from the Alien Festival and actually set up and do one live with an audience.
We should have. Yes, we should.
Let's do that next year.
All right, we'll do that.
Okay.
We'll rent a booth.
Yes.
We'll go in there
And we'll sponsor. We'll do it as a sponsor.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll go in there and do a podcast.
For sure.
From there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun to do it with an audience. We could just get people out of the audience, come talk.
Yeah.
People, oh yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, I've got more than enough equipment to set that up. I got wireless microphones and everything, dude. We can totally get that going on.
And then we got a couple other festivals too that we can do that with too, not just the Alien Festival. So we need to start thinking in that direction.
We may need to.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun. You want to get into some of these articles we put up?
Yeah.
We already visited the space. That was
Cue
very...
one up here. That's good conversation though. I love talking about stuff like
I
that.
know.
Okay.
Oh look, there's my ugly mug.
Hey, there you are.
Which one do I click on?
Just go the first one there. Let's see what it is. Doesn't matter. Oh yeah, okay.
All right, the water.
Yeah, you can make this full screen there.
All right.
There you go.
Atlanta City Council members, they are meeting right now, focused on finding a long-term fix in preventing our aging infrastructure from crumbling even further.
Oh wow.
Atlanta's first political reporter Doug Reardon is live at 5 from City Hall. Doug, families frustrated. How are city officials responding to this mess?
Yeah, well, they're very understanding about this, guys. A lot of them
Pause
actually
it.
lost
Pause
water.
it. Pause it. I was not expecting that voice to come out of him. What the hell? Well, a lot of these are going.
Doug Reardon.
All right, sorry.
Go ahead, Doug.
Their homes or businesses as well, and they just finished getting an update from Watershed Management as well as the mayor's office, and they said they hope to have this fixed by tonight so they can start restoring people's service as soon as possible. But they admitted this is going to keep happening because of an aging infrastructure system that needs to be fixed sooner rather than later.
All right, pause it. I don't even know if we need to go any further than this.
Right.
The reason I put this in here is because we got completely flamed for making the argument that Spruce Pine is not at all the only town that has water infrastructure. We got destroyed online for this last year during the election cycle.
Yeah.
This is Atlanta, Georgia, one of the biggest cities in the country. You got the exact same damn thing happening.
Yeah.
So go figure. Go figure. When we said that it's that way all over the country. It's not just Spruce Pine.
It is.
We are not unique in this. It's happening all over the place.
We're not really unique in a lot of things, man.
No, these systems were put in however long ago, and they're all coming due. Yeah. So we got a major. So where I wanted to go with this was that, and this is what I said online on Facebook, was that imagine we're sending all this money overseas to fight a proxy war with Russia and Ukraine, to fund a very questionable thing that's going on in Israel and Gaza. What are we doing? We got massive infrastructure problems here. And every time you talk about infrastructure, when it comes to on a national level, everybody thinks roads, bridges, things like this. Well, what about municipal water systems all over the country? Water and sewer systems that are all coming due. And they're all going to come due at the same time because they were all relatively put in at the same time.
Yep.
And yet, so we're sending all this money over there. Meanwhile, we can't even get water piped to our house.
Yeah, but dude, Dick Cheney can't make money off of our water.
That's true.
Halliburton stock isn't going to be affected by whether we get our infrastructure
Or we can't
fixed.
order
Or
47 more F-16 fighters from
Boeing.
Boeing, yes.
Yeah. Lockheed Martin can't make whatever they make.
Right.
I don't know. Something stupid that kills people, I'm sure.
So whoever it was that found them stupid-ass stock photos, I'm sick and tired of holding my tongue on all this shit. I mean, they found these stock photos of our supposedly rusted-out pipes.
Wait a minute. Wait, what? Now, I'm agnostic to all of this.
Okay, you remember somebody online posted, it was in one of those Let's Talk pages, somebody posted this photo of supposedly Spruce Pine's rusting pipes, where everybody that gets 400 comments, everybody in the world, oh God, well, There's rusty pipes all over the country, pal.
Was it really a stock photo, though?
Yeah, 100%. We found it online.
No shit. Someone posted a fake picture
Yes.
and represented it as that. Oh, wow.
That happened on
Who was it?
a lot of things.
Who was it?
I don't even remember.
I want to call them out.
I don't know. Honestly don't remember. I'll tell you if I remember it. But
That's hysterical.
yeah.
That's hysterical. I'm going to start doing shit like that.
Right.
I'm going to go into these Let's Talk pages, and I'm just going to start posting
Most insidious,
insane shit, and being like, look at this! Oh my god!
It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, go. You can find the next one there.
Move on to the next one.
Yeah, you can move it on.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to put that one in there to prove my darn point. Oh, this is fantastic. Yeah, pause this. You seen this?
I've read the first 7 or 8 letters, and I'm already sighing.
Make that big.
All right.
Let's play that. Okay, just to give you a little, you can go back to the beginning of it. So, just to give you a little background, so this is a pro-Palestine pride protester on the right here,
Okay.
and this is some sort of kind of drag queen gal that's decided to go and ask some simple questions to these people. So
Okay.
let's listen to what she has to say.
And so I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine.
Would you say you're pro-Palestine or pro-Israel?
Pro-Palestine.
As a gay man, I would be punished and or put in prison or killed if I were openly gay in Palestine. How do you react to that?
I didn't know that.
How
So-
do they
It
not
is
know
illegal
that?
to be gay in Palestine. You are punished by
Is it
prison
the
or
same
death.
as Israel?
No, Israel has gay pride. Israel is completely open to lesbian and gay people.
So that's
Palestine puts them in prison or kills them. You weren't aware of that?
I was not aware of that, no. So that does.
But she did a study abroad.
Did she really?
Have you seen the Queers for Palestine movement? It's a very common movement, but I don't see any Muslims for Queer movements.
Yes. That's where it gets gray, right? Like.
Gets
that's where
gray.
I
Well,
feel like
for me,
Does
it's
it
not
get gray?
I am fearful of Islam because there is no Islamic country on earth that embraces me as a gay man.
So okay. So maybe I'm confused because Israel, which is still an Islam country, right?
No. Jewish.
No!
Okay.
So Israel's Jewish, Palestinians are Islamic.
Okay.
And like I know they cherry pick these, people that don't know shit about anything.
And you can just go back to me and Josh now for a second in between these. You don't have to keep it up, but yeah, this is the type of informed people, Josh, that I think we're dealing with here. They're not informed at all.
This is according to Wikipedia, so you can take it for what that's worth. But capital punishment is a criminal punishment for homosexuality is implemented by a number of countries. That includes, let's see. And these are UN member states.
Okay.
Iran, Nigeria, let's see here, Brunei. I can't pronounce that. Brunei.
Yeah.
Okay. Another one I can't pronounce. Mauritania. Okay. Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Palestine. Let's see. Now that goes on talking about other stuff.
Yeah, so here's what you need to know. Iran and Palestine. If you
Yemen.
believe Wikipedia.
Afghanistan. Pakistan, Qatar, Somalia, United Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is the level of ignorance that you're dealing with on a lot of these people. I really think a lot of people are just completely ignorant. And I don't
no fault of their own, I would add.
to no fault of their own. But I don't think these people know at all what they're talking about. They are literally just following like a narrative.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, this woman prefaced this entire conversation by saying, I did a study abroad in Israel and Palestine. She didn't even know that Israel was a Jewish country and Palestine is Islamic.
She's never been to either
She'd
country.
never been to either
Never.
one of them. It's all for clout.
It is. It's all for social clout.
Yes.
Yeah, social capital. Yeah.
And this goes
it is.
back to the water thing. There's a lot of people that have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
No.
But this whole thing, we got into it with the bridge. Jimmy posted about the bridge, and you don't know nothing. Well, there ain't nothing wrong with that bridge. Well, ask a person in a wheelchair.
That bridge is fucked.
It is the shittiest bridge of all time. I'm not saying it because I have every reason to be sentimental about that bridge. Love that bridge. Grew up on the bridge. Played on the bridge. I love it. But it can't be configured to be handicap accessible. You're never going to get grant money to go to it because of that. No grant. That's just an automatic.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's like, well, is it handicap accessible? No. Well, if it's not ADA, we're not paying for it.
Right.
Period. Full stop. And everybody's like, don't you touch that bridge. You don't know shit. You ain't been on that fucking bridge in 20 years, dude.
No.
You ain't been out of your house in 5 years, much less been to the damn bridge.
I've not.
Shut the hell up, unless you know what you're talking about.
Well, it's so funny to me that people defend a bridge. It's an inanimate object.
Yeah.
Because they have, and again, nostalgia is bullshit.
Yes.
I've said this a million times.
Yes.
Nostalgia is bullshit because we're looking back to a time period where we thought things were easier and better.
Well, guess what? For somebody, it wasn't. It was the worst time of their life.
And I guarantee you that if you took a time machine back to that point in time, those same people would be saying that's the worst they've ever seen the world.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Usually the generation that's the older generation is saying, Lord, it's going to hell in a handbasket. How many times have you heard that?
It's the boomers' fault.
You know what I mean?
It's all the boomers'
Don't
fault.
even get me started on that. But again, it's this way. It don't matter if it's Israel, Palestine, a bridge in Spruce Pond, downtown Spruce Pond, or whatever. People don't even know what they're talking about. But you can get online with your little keyboard, or you can go to this protest and carry your little flag and do all this. It don't mean shit.
Right.
None of it means shit.
Well, I'll go on the other side of it. Now you have every damn conservative in the world is all of a sudden a legal expert.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
It's like, it's not just one side.
No,
That
it's not.
ignorance is everywhere.
It's not. Yeah,
it's
not.
everywhere.
But I think ignorance is far more rampant than we give it credit for.
Sure.
I really don't think a lot of the people, we just assume that whoever we're arguing with online knows.
I don't argue online anymore at all. I stopped.
I very rarely, unless it's just something I'm like,
it is a fool's errand.
Yeah,
it is a fool's errand because we are never. And again, this is where we're at. You can't change people's minds anymore. You can't. And you remember what I said earlier about I don't really know enough about that, so it's probably not appropriate for me to comment on it. How many people do you think actually say that statement?
Nobody. I even have to force myself sometimes to be
I did just then.
Yeah, well, I'm like, why am I arguing? I'll find myself in the middle of an argument with somebody and be like, I don't know anything about this. Why am I even why do I have such a hard
why
about something I don't know nothing about?
Such hard that's there's something built into us that makes us that way.
I know.
As humans.
And the internet feeds
it's our damn consciousness.
Goddamn. It's goddamn consciousness. Somebody figure it out, dude. Smart people figure it out.
Oh,
dude,
geez. I love the world. It's fantastic. The world has never been better and worse at the same time.
I know. It is quite entertaining.
It is.
I want Trump to be president again just because I thought it was hilarious. The guy comes out.
Oh, yeah.
There's a hurricane. You guys want me to nuke it? You want me to nuke this hurricane? I'm like, that is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
And people think he's serious about shit all the time, which is laughable too. But
anyway,
nuke the hurricane. I mean, what would happen if we nuke the hurricane? Obviously, it's going to nuke whatever city it's over.
Just nuke it in the middle of the ocean. We'll be good. Yeah.
I mean, that's. I'll be honest. I'll be honest here, like fully candid, 100% honest. If I were president and I had the ability to nuke shit, I would probably nuke a hurricane.
Yeah, to see what happens.
To see what I would want to. I would want to do that.
And if somebody said something about it, I'd be like, we're testing.
So, and anybody who like got into
North Korea
uproar
test. We
because
can't
he
test.
said that, they would want to do the same thing.
Right.
They would want to do the same thing.
No, you can get that next one ready.
I was gonna kind of chime in on.
Oh,
that
yeah, go for it,
conversation, though. I think it also stems from. I had a train of thought and I lost it. It stems from people not wanting to be wrong.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So yeah,
There's
right.
a fear of being wrong, for sure.
I'll even
Why?
give kind of an example. I have recently gotten into the fighting game world as of recent, and I'm still kind of new to the scene, and I tried to give a little bit of advice, but I was like, wait, I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Right.
And so I took my L on the chin and was like, I don't even know what I'm talking about. You do what you want.
Yes.
Type deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is no one like that?
Well, there's a lack of self-awareness, I think, too, that
So maybe we're not as conscious as Indian as we want to
maybe
think.
we're not. I don't know.
Why are we afraid of being wrong? Why is that such a big deal for people to be like?
I think it's pride.
Yeah.
I think people want to be, want to be in the know. They want to know what they're talking about. And then I think also, too, like...
Because I've been guilty of that as much as anybody.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, just I have
I've
to be
always
right.
been pretty willing to... I will say that about I really feel that way. Like, I've always been pretty willing to be like, yeah, you're right. I was wrong. I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't listen to me.
It depends on
know
what
what I mean?
it depends on what it is.
Yeah.
It depends on what it is.
But you can also reserve the right to be wrong. But just, we say all the time, it's like, I reserve the right to change my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, right along with that, it's like I also have the right to be completely wrong about something.
Sure.
Because I could just be ill-informed. I could be misinformed.
Yep.
I could be whatever. Looking back on things, there's a lot of things I had a real strong stance about.
Same.
And looking back, I'm like, dude, if I knew what I knew now, there's no way I would have done that. But I think it's a pride issue. And then I think a lot of it online is people you just get flamed. You're afraid of getting flamed,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I recently found the last argument I found myself in online was I found myself in a Guitar Center shit posting group in Facebook, which I'm in.
Yeah.
Arguing with some dude over Islam. And he, looking at his profile, he was just like this white Western hippie dude.
Right.
But he was saying that I was misinformed about Islam when I was like, okay, I went to Islamist website and just copied and pasted what the actual text from their website, the horse's mouth, said about honor killings, about killing apostates, all that stuff. And I was like, how can you defend that? And he was like, well, you're just misinformed. He never gave an argument.
Right.
But he was like, he's like, with all due respect, you're talking out of your ass and you have no idea what you're talking about. And I was like, so you're Muslim? And he's like, yes. I was like, okay, then tell me where I'm wrong. Inform me. And he never did. He just kept calling me names. So I was like, okay, well, that's
I
fine.
had a very similar interaction with a guy I actually grew to really like.
Yeah.
But it's hard to defend. There's a lot of things that are hard to defend. I have positions I have probably hard to defend. But Islam's got a bad problem with...
Islam is a problem. I'll go ahead and say it. Islam is a problem. Islam's a problem.
Deepak Chopra wrote the book and almost got killed for it.
And getting...
Satanic... You ever read the Satanic version?
Yeah. Yeah. When... This is what kills me about the discourse surrounding Islam, and especially with atheists, is they have to chime in and be like, well, all religions are problematic. It's not just brown people. And I'm like, well, first of all, that's fucking racist as hell. Right. Wow. Right. And number two, yeah, maybe, but there's only one religion right now that actively kills people for leaving the religion. There's only one religion now that actively kills people for being gay. There's only one religion right now that actively kills people, and they even have like legislation for this in the countries.
Yeah.
There's only one religion where you actively are killed for adultery, and women only are killed for adultery.
Islam as a theocracy,
yes,
is a scourge.
Well, that's because
on
Islam,
any country that it's implemented.
Islam is a theocracy.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
You're right.
If you read the Quran, it spells out it is totalitarian, not in the way that the Christianity and Judaism is. It's totalitarian in here's how you run your government, here's how you run your finances, here's how you run your world, your Islamic State, because it is a totalitarian theocracy in itself.
Well, and there's no room for tolerance or compromise or...
So here's my question. How does the tolerant left, the most tolerant people on earth, claim to be the most tolerant, extend their hand to the most intolerant and bigoted ideology on the face of the planet?
Well, it's because the reason is because they're
brown.
Well, no, I think the reason is because I think there's a legitimate argument in some cases to make, like especially in cases of like Gaza and the West Bank and stuff. There's a legitimate case to be made that those people are quite oppressed.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
You know, and like it or not, you kind of have to separate the people from the religion, or at least the organizations that implement the government from the people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Hamas is a terrorist organization.
100%.
1,000%. They knew exactly what was going to happen when they did that on October 7th. They knew They knew this was coming. They wanted it to come.
They did.
Exactly what they wanted is exactly what the far left, the progressive left, is giving them.
Sympathy.
Sympathy for the devil.
That's a good song. Even though I don't really care for the Rolling Stones. So, yeah, and it's funny that...
But, I mean, you know, it's like, it is a hard thing to defend. Islam is a hard thing to defend because, I mean, it's written right there.
Yeah. In no uncertain terms. And,
I mean, Christianity had a reformation.
Yeah.
What Islam needs is a reformation.
I would argue it just needs to be gone.
Yeah.
That's just me, though. Me and my bigoted views.
I think that that there's things that can be. I think those types of turning points where there's, I mean, Martin Luther literally nailed his declaration to the church door, like, we're not doing it anymore. And America fought a civil war over slavery.
And everyone's like, what about the Crusades? And I'm like, yeah, the Crusades were a response to Islamist encroachment in the West. Like, they were Islam, Muhammad and his warlords were literally trying to take over the West. So, yeah, I mean, dude, if you have to, there's so much I could go on.
Yeah, you can go down a giant rabbit hole with this,
But again, I reiterate, Islam is the most bigoted, hateful ideology on the face of this planet.
And the people that claim to be the most tolerant are the ones that are
extending their hand to it.
Yeah.
And
I don't understand how that works. That is just breaks my brain.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. You were talking about how Hamas is a terrorist organization. Well, not every Muslim is a terrorist. No, I will concede that. However, here's my caveat. How many Muslims are there? 6 billion?
I think so, something like
6
that.
billion?
Yeah, I believe it's somewhere in that range.
Let's see. Let me just. I want to illustrate here.
A lot is what there is.
How many Muslims in the world? As of April 30th, 2024, there are more than 1.9 billion Muslims in the world. Okay, how many Muslims are extremist?
Depends on your definition of extremist.
We'll just go with the OIC.org definition. 15 to 25% of the world's Muslims are considered extremist, meaning they want to implement Sharia law and an Islamic State. Okay? Now, what's 10 to 25% of 1.9 billion?
A lot.
A fuck ton. That's a problem.
Huge problem.
That's a problem. We're not talking about just a few people.
I saw a guy on Lex Friedman that was making this very argument for Islam, that Islam needs a reformation, that
It does.
That it's a real problem.
Even even your moderate Muslims, still believe death for apostasy, death for
homosexuality
and adultery. They still believe in those. Your moderate Muslims believe that to be the case. And if you don't believe me, just ask a Muslim what is the penalty for apostasy. I love asking them that. I love it. Love it, because the answer will not surprise you.
death.
Yeah. And they'll even be like, well, according to the Quran, that's your holy book.
Right.
That's your holy book.
Yeah, as far as I know, Jesus never advocated for killing anybody, no matter what.
No, he didn't. But Jesus also wasn't a warlord that married a 9-year-old.
Point taken. All right. Let's quit arguing or talking religion. Let's watch something funny.
I feel like we're going to be on some Iranian hit list eventually.
The local... what do they call them? Not the temple, but the...
I'm sure there will be a fatwa issued against us.
Yes. Exactly.
Good.
Give us another one.
Good.
This one's great for me. Love this.
Oh, yeah. You guys are going to love this.
Oh, wow.
Here we go.
All right.
Joro spiders.
Invasion. What a very carefully selected word.
They're invading. Scroll it down just a little bit so everybody can get a good look at that sucker.
I've yet to see one. So that's a... Oh, why am I wearing the headphones? It's not a video.
No.
So a Joro spider... A Joro spider? Is that how you say it?
Joro, I believe, is the way.
Joro.
So these things were introduced into North Georgia, or into Georgia itself, sometime back in the early 2000s, I believe this article says. I kind of remember reading the article, but they are expanding. They're all the way as far as New York now, and they are here as well. Their legs can be about 4 inches long, just the legs themselves, not to count the body. They're bright orange. They're real scary looking. Technically, they're venomous.
They're venomous.
They're not very harmful to humans.
Venom is not deadly. These spiders have been sighted in the U.S. since as early as 1998 in Hampton and in Newport.
So for all you arachnid lovers out there, or arachnophobists.
Okay, now, does that article not say that they can fly?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
They fly on the wind. They build a web, and the web gets picked up, and they literally can float on the web.
My Lord. Okay, so that...
But, I mean, it is pretty incredible. They've tracked these things being able to fly up to 500 miles in a single. Like, on a single wind.
Okay. Because Wikipedia doesn't say anything about flying.
No.
At all. In folklore, the common name of the spider comes from the Jorogumo, a legendary spider in Japanese folklore that can translate into a beautiful woman who can breathe fire and control other spiders. She seeks men to seduce, whom she then binds in her silk and devours.
Yes.
So a real awesome woman there.
One of the more notable things we should note is once these things get here, they will be the biggest spider that anybody around here has pretty much ever seen. Full stop. Wolf spiders can get pretty big, but
wolf spiders can be pretty big.
They're pretty monstrous, but these things can really get pretty
giant. I'm trying to see what the size range is on them. Okay, here we go. So,
and this is from News 13, by the way. Your local TV affiliate.
Wow. The female spins egg sacs on a tree, laying 400 to 1,500 eggs in one sack. Holy moly. I'm
so glad flamethrowers are legal.
I mean, they're fine. Spider size. Okay, they're not that big.
Yeah, but just the legs themselves can be up to 4 inches long. And in
diameter.
Full
in
grown,
diameter.
Yes.
Yeah. So, cause I'm looking at pictures of full grown ones, and they fit in the palm of your hand.
I mean, but still, Josh, that's a freaking massive spider.
Come to me when they start bringing Sydney funnel webs over here. Then I'll have a problem.
Yes, no.
That
Will not be a
I was
fun
literally
one.
just gonna say if funnel webs appear here, I'm buying it. I'm buying.
I lived there. It's not like everybody has this like thing. It's like about Australia. It's like you're gonna walk down the, road and
a taipan's gonna eat your neck.
You're gonna be limping because you can't walk because a snake just
Is
tore your
latched
leg
onto
off
you.
or whatever, and then spider's gonna come along and start picking flesh, and then a great white
Great
shark
white's raping you from behind.
Yes, gonna jump out of a bush and like rape you.
Not the shark again! Not the shark again!
But it's not like, you got to go looking for them. It's not like, and there's they put out like, they tell kids about them all the time. Like common places that we have them, it's just like a black widow spider. If you're digging around in a wet basement in the back in the corner of somewhere and you're digging, you better be wearing some gloves or you might be in trouble. You know what I mean? And the thing about funnel web spiders is too, when they call them funnel web, there's a good reason for that.
Yeah.
Because you'll see their webs are very distinct. You can't mistake it.
Yeah.
It's not like it's the tightest, widest funnel you've just about ever
the problem is when they get into shirt or sock drawers and into shoes. People leave their shoes. Who leaves their shoes outside? People do that all the time. Why?
You don't in Australia.
No.
I do around here, but
I don't. I never leave my shoes outside. Never. I don't know, man. We have black widows and brown recluse, and I know even a bite from them isn't deadly or gonna kill you. It's still not gonna be fun.
Yeah.
They get a bad rap too. Widow spiders and recluses around here get such a bad rap, just like snakes do.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
They don't kill people.
No, they don't.
They don't. I've been bit by a black widow.
Yeah.
It's really not that bad.
No. I got bit by a brown recluse one time, and it swelled up big and got black in the middle. But I just treated it with Neosporin and
Most, I think it's the statistic was 80% of black widow bites are misdiagnosed MRSA and staph infections.
Yeah. Now, often, if they're untreated and you don't take it, like a lot of guys, just put some dirt on it or whatever, and you really did get bit by one,
If
you will
rub
absolutely
dirt on
get
anything. You
will
infected.
absolutely get MRSA, 100%. If they're very susceptible to an infection, I think that's what kills people. It's the same thing with a funnel web spider.
Well, see, even that's a myth. Even that's a myth. If it does cause necrosis, that's susceptible to infection, but it's very, very rare that necrosis actually occurs.
Because I would imagine it's much like snakes. It depends on how much venom they actually give you, number one. I'm sure snakes can do dry bites too, right?
Sure, yeah. Spiders can too.
Spiders,
spiders
spiders can get dry bites. So, it's not always, it's not just black and white. What do you think? You want to go outside? Hunt for some Joro spiders?
No.
I want to know where their habitats are. Does it say where they're likely to be found?
Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Maryland, Oklahoma, and West Virginia.
So what about, does it say where they're likely to be found, like just outside?
According to Wikipedia, they are found. They have been sighted in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, with additional reports in Alabama, Maryland, Oklahoma, and West Virginia. Its pattern of spread suggests it's primarily driven by natural dispersal mechanisms such as ballooning, though human-mediated transport cannot be discounted. Let's see. Where is it?
Maybe common habitat of a Joro spider.
Looking for
common places to find a Joro spider.
Habitat.
But I think this. Go back up to the top of the article, Noah. Let's look at this. Love this sensationalism. Joro spider invasion. Giant venomous flying spiders.
Spreading across the East Coast. Oh my god,
buddy, that's some clickbait material.
Oh,
way to
for
go! News Third.
sure.
So let's give him a hand for that.
For
Let's give
sure.
him a hand for that.
All right. Arjoro. This is on Terminix's website. Arjoro spiders poisonous? No, they're venomous. If you eat one, you're not going to die.
Right.
Jeez, people. There's a difference. Venom is injected. Poison is ingested.
Right.
No snakes we have here are poisonous. The only poisonous snake in the world. Do you know what it is?
No.
There is one snake that is poisonous, and another subspecies of this same snake that is venomous and poisonous, and that is the killback, the red-headed killback snake. Killbacks are poisonous.
So if you eat them, you're gonna.
They secrete, just like the frogs, the poison dart frogs. They secrete a milky substance on the back of their neck that is poison.
Oh, okay, I guess.
Yes. Okay. Watch your landscaping. Rich vegetation against your house could cause Jora spiders to settle there. Don't leave outdoor lights on. Bright lights can attract insects, which in turn can attract Jora spiders that will eat them. Eliminate hiding places. Jora spiders prefer lush vegetation, leaf piles, and wood piles. Clean your home regularly and check for spider webs and remove them. Seal cracks and holes around windows and doors to prevent spiders from entering.
And there's somebody that is watching this that is literally
getting the spray
foam out right now.
See, I'm one of those people. I am a horrible arachnophobe.
I understand.
When I was outside pressure washing today, there was a spider crawling up my leg, and I just let him crawl up in my hand, and I took him and put him in the flower bed below your window. So hopefully he'll go in.
For me, it is an instantaneous death. It doesn't matter what breed. It doesn't matter. It dies.
I'll give you some hope. I used to be you could ask my dad. Oh my God! The amount of times I called Dad, even when I was working for other people. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was working for Claudia down at the hotel, and she made me go to, I think it was at Robert's house, and get a bunch of. They had like metal chairs stored, and they just had some of them like like dust spiders and things that are in like.
Yeah,
I wouldn't touch it.
Really?
I had made Dad. I'm like, Dad, you're gonna have to come and help me. I'm like, I can't do this. And she's like, oh God, okay. But I have since then. I don't know if it's necessarily even by exposure to them. I guess I have crawled up under enough houses now and had to just contend with it.
Yeah.
That I've become okay with it now.
Hey, you know what?
But it does fade off.
Scroll down to the audio stuff, and are we recording audio this whole time? I want to see there. Okay, yeah, there it is. Interface. All right,
Okay,
as long
good.
as that's not there.
Good.
I couldn't see that. Let's go to the next.
Yeah, go to the next one. Oh,
all right.
Okay.
All right. Let me put the headphones on. Let's
Go back to the beginning here.
I love seeing them go back.
What possesses people to ever think that this is
Jackass?
I guess. But here we are.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Stone Cold Stunner off the roof.
Oh my God. And they're both going too.
You guys okay?
Oh! You guys okay?
I love the screams of pain.
Okay, dude, what's wrong?
What's wrong? He's definitely broken.
And he's
some
still
bones.
filming.
Wow. Wow. People.
I don't even know what, because I get that you watch these people do it. The key word here is professional. Professional wrestlers.
Yes.
They know how to do these things without getting hurt. You don't see them on top of a roof.
No, they're in the ring.
Right.
Which what's the top rope? 3 feet off of the ground.
Sure, something like that. I mean, it's not even that much. So, I mean,
They're on a roof.
people don't try to do amateur wrestling at home. I believe the next one is also another amateur wrestling clip, and this one make your this next one will really make you crawl. Oh no, this is okay. This is a good one too. This is not wrestling related. There is another one that's wrestling related. But this guy got the watch this, boys. Watch this.
Now, I have questions.
Concussion speed run.
Okay, what? What was the outcome he sought there?
Okay, so that is one of those machines where you punch it, and it measures your punching speed. So this guy, he's boozed up, obviously.
Oh yeah, for
He's got
sure.
a couple cocktails in him. And
Probably some cocaine.
There's some, probably some illicit drugs.
Little zoot.
Little tooting in him. He's got a little couple toots in him.
Little zooted.
And there's probably some women there. And this guy's like, okay, but this is his thinking. Not, I'm going to go like Bruce Lee, whoa, with a kick at it. Not that I'm going to go, Superman, punch it. This guy is like, I'm going head first, baby. I'm going head first like this. So this is his. Let's play it again.
I'm also gonna pause at point of impact.
Yeah. Look.
Right
there.
This has gotta be like broken nose, maybe.
Dude.
This is at Buffalo Wild Wings for sure. Number one.
Yeah.
He did not just he did not baby it. He went straight Superman fly face first into this metal object.
Yes, of all the things that you can do, this guy's going head first.
God.
That's gotta be
first.
like concussion.
That poor machine.
And then he just
look at how the machine just moves.
flats.
And that thing weighs probably 400 pounds. 'Cause
yeah.
it's meant for people to punch it all day. So it's good and weighted down.
with solid concrete in the bottom of it. What's the name of that restaurant where it's like the arcade for adults and they sell beer? There's one of them in Kingsport or whatever.
Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, that's definitely a
D&B,
Dave and
son.
Buster's. That's definitely a Dave and Buster's. Like a Chuck E. Cheese for drunk people.
I'm shocked he got back up after that. He instantly raised his head.
His boys are like, woo, yeah!
He's like,
yeah. His spine is crushed in like 3 places in his neck.
Yep.
He's definitely leaving there in the neck brace. All right, you can go to the next one. Okay, this one's a little. So we got some, backyard amateur wrestling going on. So here we go. What got me down this road, Josh, was when you'd mentioned that they had it over there on Dale Road, the amateur wrestling on Dale Road. Remember the old? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what got me down this rabbit hole. So this is his walkout music. Here you go.
oh my God.
What southern hellhole did this come out of? This dude just...
We might get a DMCA for this, but this is not our video. It's not our song. So what's this? All right, we're getting in the ring. Here we go. We're really doing it WWE style now. We're going up. Yeah, top buckle. Now watch.
Oh, I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
Both ACLs, baby.
Oh God.
Go back.
Oh, I don't want to go back. I don't want to see it again.
Woo, that was bad.
Okay, I'll go back, but I ain't looking at it.
I'm gonna have to put a trigger warning at the beginning of this episode just for this. Oh, he's getting up on the top rope. Don't do it, dude. He's gonna do it.
All right. Now we're jumping off straight leg. Woo! Oh!
I did not want to see
Oh,
that.
man.
Do not pass go. Do not fight a wrestling match. Go
Do not-
straight to the orthopedic doctor
Do
for
not walk
full
out of
double
there.
ACL replacement.
Oh my gosh.
He went inverted control mode. He just wanted to walk
Exactly.
backwards is all.
Exactly. Well,
Bro just trashed his ACLs and meniscus and every other tendon and ligament in his legs. Oh my God.
that's pretty bad.
Chase, you should have told me beforehand, my guy.
Yeah, I'll put a trigger warning before the show for people who are sensitive to.
It took me a while to be able to watch that one and laugh. Oh,
Ooh. Ooh.
I felt that in my whole body.
Yeah, his legs became chicken legs on that one. Literal.
He went full pterodactyl.
Full pterodactyl, exactly. Oh, Lord. Is that about it? That's the last one, right?
Yeah, that's all of them.
I got you. Well, Joshua,
Yeah.
it's a pleasure.
As always.
We're going to get back into having some other guests.
We are. Everybody's
Yeah.
busy. Everybody's busy. But I like just hanging out and talking. Just
I do
shooting
too.
shit. So here's the thing. Everybody, please subscribe. And if you're mad about some of the things we said about Islam or space or Christianity or anything, please be sure to let us know in the comments, because that only drives engagement to our channel.
And if you agreed with us, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. Just,
Absolutely.
Continue the conversation down below. I'm not going to respond to any of it, just forewarning. I'll go ahead and say that. I don't read comments, but we want to know. So I cannot read the comments and not care. No, I'm just kidding. Please do subscribe. Please do keep the conversation going. Let us know what you think, and we really need you to subscribe. We need to do a subscribe-a-thon.
I know.
Like live stream.
We do.
Where we do some outrageous shit, watch some outrageous shit. I don't know. We got to come up with something where we do something to keep people entertained.
Boy, my God, be good to the people you know, and be nice and kind to somebody. That's what we need. We need more nice. We need more kindness. We need more love in this world. And man, there's a lot of seems like a lot of people I know are sick right now.
Yeah.
Or got things going on, and I've talking to some people about possibly doing like a fundraiser type thing like we did with Keith.
Yeah.
And all that. But good Lord, hug your children tonight. Hug your family. Hug your spouse.
Hug your daughter. Hug your wife.
Yeah.
They're raping everybody up here.
God dang it, Josh. Trying to be nice, man.
I know. You're absolutely. You know what we need less of, though?
Yeah.
Self-love.
Yeah.
We are obsessed with self.
Less self-love.
More love for others.
More, say something nice to somebody. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Had a very kind gentleman come to me this week and thank me for some time. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but just said something to me that was very kind. And you know who you are if you're listening. And I didn't know you from Adam. And I want you to know that meant a lot to me. That just to be known, you know, sometimes it's just, and I needed it right at that moment too. It was one of those things that was very well-timed compliment. It was, you know, not trying to stroke my ego or something like that, but just to really like, hey, man, I appreciate you, and I see what you're doing. Yeah. And that was very, very, very kind. And a lot of people have kind words. Pamela Watts, I saw her at lunch one day this week, and she was very kind and was encouraging us. She told me to tell you that to keep going. You need to keep going. And you know, those things are really cool to hear from people. People don't have to be that kind or don't have to say stuff like that, but they do, and I appreciate it. And I see it.
Very much so appreciate the support and the encouragement. And I know that, you know, this content may not be everybody's cup of tea. And I know we're local, and I know a lot of people locally watch us. I would say the majority of our viewership is local, and you know, that means a lot. That really does. It really does mean a lot that people support us and like what we're doing, even if it's, you know, nonsensical shenanigans and us sitting around talking shit.
Yep. And we will get back to some of the
more serious,
the more serious, more informative things. It's so hard right when spring starts and all this stuff. It's just everybody's gone, but those things settle down too. So, you know, after everybody kind of gets over the out of school, going on vacation phase and all that stuff, it gets a lot. We got at least one booked coming up here that we know of, and I think it's going to be cool. Go to the Alien Festival this weekend. Support the town. Yep. Big deal, man. Big deal this weekend. A lot of vendors. I mean, I looked at that list. It was incredible. I was like, holy. Really? Yeah. I mean, I got a lot of people.
I mean, it was pretty fun last year.
Well, there was a lot of people last year. And I think it'll be even bigger this year.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. That's good for our little town.
We will set up a booth next year and do a live podcast.
Yeah.
We'll do a live stream.
We may even do that for something later on in the year, too. Yeah. Maybe another event. So
sounds like a plan.
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it.
Keep on trucking.
All righty, everybody. We love you all. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Peace out.